Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a lot to talk about today. Apparently, the beef between the Morris brothers and the Jokic brothers is continuing. First, we're going to talk about Damian Lillard, and he is also not a fan of what the refs are doing. We're going to get into all that, but first, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, give this video a thumbs up. And now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Jackie Ray. You can still find me at JRay the Fanatic on TikTok, but everywhere else it is Jackie Ray TV.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. Jackie survived, y'all. She's here. She made it. Happy after birthday, but we know the month continues on. But Jackie, you had fun yesterday?
I had such a great time. It was a really good day. At the Long Beach Post, my boss made me from scratch a red velvet cake, which is my favorite.
Oh, your boss was the one that made it. Because you told us that someone was making it. You didn't say who it was. Okay. And it came out good?
It was really good, and I didn't know. Maybe I was just yesterday years old when I figured this out, but I didn't realize that red velvet cake is actually a very light chocolate cake with a bunch of red dye. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I only knew that because I worked at a yogurt shop, and we started making cupcakes at that spot that we were at, and I found out that that's all red velvet cake was. It's just a fancy chocolate. It's not even that fancy. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
I've been bamboozled. I don't even like chocolate cake. Now I got to be like,
right.
Right. Yes, but it was a good day. Thank you guys all so much for the birthday wishes. I got a lot in my DMs. You guys are awesome. But let's go ahead and jump into our first need to know news, because I think this is the last person that I thought was going to have an issue with the officiating, just because he was not one of the people that we named of the people who were going to all of a sudden have this type of problem. But Damian Lillard, he has come out and said that he does not like the way the officiating is going. He says that the officiating is really changing the way the game is played, even though the calls in the Portland Clippers game last night was pretty even. Portland went to the line. They had 12 free throws. Clippers had 13. Dame had 27 points, 6 assists. Norman Powell had 23 points. And the only starter who wasn't in double digits was Robert Covington, but all of the starters for the Clippers were in double digits. They played very well last night as well. But he even in the fourth quarter, I don't know if you guys saw the highlights. I didn't see the game because it was my birthday, but I saw the highlights. But in the fourth quarter, we almost had Dame time. I didn't realize that he had another abdomen issue, and I guess his abdomen kind of locked up in the fourth quarter. So that kind of stopped us from seeing a full-on Dame time where he comes back and kind of takes over the game. But nonetheless, even with that good run, he still feels some type of way. I want to show you this because this is one of the things that I saw on Twitter. No one zoomed in, but this is one of the fouls that they said he definitely should have received. He says Zubac basically impedes his movement and then kind of hits him across the body with the right hand. In real time, I can't see it. I can see that he's right underneath him when he comes down, and that should have been a foul. Either way, there's a foul there for sure, but I don't see the impeding of his lane. But either way, Dame felt some type of way about how the officiating went, and he said it in his post game. So take a listen.
One thing that is on Dame Lillard's mind tonight after the Portland Trailblazers lost to the LA Clippers is officiating, and he didn't really hold back.
But like the way the game is being officiated is unacceptable. I don't want to go too deep into it so they make a big deal out of it, but the explanations, that's getting missed, I mean, come on, man. I'm not even a player that I felt like coming in, the rule change wouldn't affect me because I don't do the trick to referees. I don't do the trick plays. And it just is unacceptable, man.
I mean, I agree with that. I didn't think he was one of the players that would be affected by this. But when you hear him say that, what's your first thought on how he feels about the officiating?
It's so confusing for me, at least for Dame, because I feel like his issues this season and last night's game, like you mentioned, he was playing solid, but his issues this year to me were not referee problems at all. If you ask me, I mean, he's shooting his career lows from the field and from the 3-point line this year. I don't know how much that is connected to the referees. Even that foul that we were just mentioned, yeah, on paper, sure, that's a foul, but it's rarely ever called in the NBA. I see Kevin talking about the one time it was called on Giannis, but I mean that's even a rare instance because Giannis is a person that doesn't really get foul calls unless he's getting mauled to the floor. So I don't know. This one was a little out of field. It sounds like his frustrations with the team overall is coming out, and it's in the form of the referees. I don't know. Yeah, like you said at the very top, Damian Lillard is not the one of the people I was expecting to hear from, and he even said it himself. He's not the kind of guy that baits for fouls. We always know referees miss stuff. It's early on the season, but I don't think it's been to that kind of a degree where he's complaining about. I think it's more frustration with the team, and I've been saying it. That team is weird, and we're seeing it right now. There's just not a well put together team.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of feel that even from the way that he was delivering that, it seemed like it was more of just total frustration rather than just the frustration on the refs. Because in that, like I said, in that play, that was the play that was going around on Twitter, and it was one of those things where I was okay with the no call. I get what people are saying, but I was okay with the no call in that situation. Sometimes you got to just let these guys play. You can't call every single thing. You got to let them play. But to your point, Shaq and Chuck basically agree 100% with you that this is not about the officials. This is about him being in a miserable situation, and he's kind of taking it out on the officials. So take a listen to what they had to say.
I've been there before. My last 2 years in Philly. It's hard to play basketball when you're not all in. Like, I knew we sucked. I knew I was like, I'm going to get great individual accolades. I'm going to make the All-Star team. But we got zero chance of winning. And I have been in his same boat before.
So what did that make you? What do you mean? So what did that make you?
They got to break the team up and try something different. We've seen this movie a lot lately. I think like the last 5 years. And he's got to leave or they got to bring him in some help. It's either A or B. It ain't this thing is not going to.
So you don't think he's committed?
No, I think, Ernie, it's just so hard, man.
Well, he's not all in.
Yeah, Ernie, I'm telling you, man.
No,
when you go ahead, Shaq.
When you're playing for an organization, you ask, like, hey, I want this coach, I want this, I want that, and they keep denying you. At some point, it has to build to a little frustration. I'm not going to say he's not committed. We all know what type of player he is, but to me, he doesn't look happy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what I think it comes down to. I don't think he's happy either. But and as much as I love Dame, and y'all know I love me some Dame Dollar, but if you're not happy being there, whose fault is that at this point? You didn't have to take that extension. You knew that things weren't going to change. You even said that with Chauncey coming in, nothing's really going to change. I saw Justin in the chat says it's CJ's fault. I don't agree with that at all. But CJ's just where he's at. Like, it's not his fault at all. But the fact of the matter is this is the team that you got. This is the team that you knew you were going to have, and you stayed committed to that city regardless. So don't pout now. And I love Damon. So I don't want to, go in on him, but don't pout now. This you made this bed, now you're lying in it. What do you think?
No, I completely echo everything you said. We said it. We said those exact words in the offseason. We said that when you're not having a good season this year and you don't want to, push the issue on you trying to get moved when the time was right, when everybody was ready to make some kind of offer for you, then don't complain and get frustrated when your team's not doing well. Because I said it just now, and I said it many times with you right there, the team is weird. It just does not make any sense. And to Justin saying that it's McCollum's fault, it's not McCollum's fault. McCollum's having a great season. The combination of the two just does not work, especially when you don't have anything else going on. There's so many things around this that are just so frustrating because I'm a big Chauncey Billups fan, player and coach. I want to see him succeed, and I feel like we're seeing an instance right now where the frustrations of Dame and then the lack of the team making any sense is going to then all come to a Chauncey Billups issue when it's really not a Chauncey Billups issue. We got to start looking at the upstairs when it comes to this Portland organization because, to Chuck's point, they have never given him anything at all. I mean, the best thing they did was probably give him a Carmelo Anthony. Outside of that, I can't really think of any other big moves or big pushes that they made to try and get him some help. I feel for him. I want him to succeed, but I think that the numbers speak for themselves. The percentages, you can just tell that he's just not. It's an overall not a good situation for him. But you chose to be here, man. You've been rapping about it. You've been talking about it in the media. You're here at least for right now. So I don't know what else to tell you. I can't feel for you. You got to go through the lumps because the team was weird from the jump, and now you got to go through it. I blaming the refs, and I'm one that will take a shot at ref if it has to be. But blaming the refs, I think this is beyond that.
I do too, and you can see it even every interview he does. His whole mannerism is just like, it's one of those things we talked about with Giannis, where he's kind of just slouching down, and he's like, there's no enthusiasm. He looks like he's already defeated, and to a certain extent, he is. But again, I agree with Chuck. So write this down. I agree with Chuck 100%. They either need to bring him some help, or they need to break up the team. But at the same time, Dame had that opportunity, so here we are. It just is what it is. But that's all I got for me.
I was just gonna say it's time to cross up that bring that help part, because he had how many years? 10, how many ever years it was, and they had not ever brought him help. So that's not happening now. It has not happened ever. So it's time for them to either make a trade or for Dame to just wisen up and get out. That's it. Yeah.
And it's weird to me that you have a talent like Dame and you don't build around him. That you just give him CJ, like, okay, that's it, we good. And like you said, and giving him Carmelo for a second, but it just doesn't seem like they've really put any thought as to how this team should look and how it should look into the future. And that's it is what it is, But that's all I got for Need to Know News on this hump day. Can you take us into this post up?
Yes, it's time for post up on this hump day. And we're going to talk about a few things that we had going on in the league. Now, we have a continuation of a story that we talked about yesterday, and that is dealing with the Jokic's, or I got called the right way, by the Jokic brothers versus the Morrises. That's how I'll say, because you got to put the Jokic brothers in there, because that was the greatest tagline. But for those who may have missed it yesterday, I'm going to give you a quick recap of what happened. We saw the push that happened in the game versus Miami and the Denver Nuggets. It was initiated by Markieff Morris, then leading to Jokic shoving him, and then that put Twitter in a blaze. But brother of Markieff Morris went onto Instagram and responded to a post, and this right here is what set the entire thing off. Clutch Point said, Jokic brothers about to get involved, and Mook responded saying, I hope they do. He also put a tweet talking about you gonna push somebody when they're backing you. All right, I see marking it down or something like that. But yeah, he's basically antagonizing the situation. And the Jokic brothers saw this, and they got to the lab and made sure that they made themselves a Twitter account. Didn't even get the icon on yet to make sure that they let Mook know that they're about that life. They would send out this tweet saying, Mook Morris 2, you should leave this the way it is instead of publicly threatening our brother. Your brother made a dirty play first. If you want to make a step further, be sure we will be waiting for you. Jokic brothers. Look, man, I'll tell you, they are about that life. So we saw that whole situation happen. But since then, yesterday, we heard the news that Jokic was, in fact, going to be suspended after shoving Markieff Morris. Shams tweeted out, Denver Nuggets star Nikola Jokic has been suspended for 1 game for shoving Miami Heat's Markieff Morris from behind on Monday night. And then on top of that, Markieff also is being fined. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of cha-ching. Markieff has been fined $50,000 for committing flagrant foul to Jokic that initiated on-court altercation, the NBA says. So that whole situation happened. But here's the best part, okay? Regardless of what's going on, the Jokic brothers, they are about that life, and they will be in attendance for the next time the Nuggets and the Heat play. Because reports are saying that Nikola Jokic's brothers bought tickets to come to Miami to be at the Nuggets Heat game that is coming up. I can't remember. It's a month away or some odd changes. It's a little bit away, but they will be ready, front row and center, in case Jimmy Butler and the boys want to add any kind of craziness. So I'm gonna tell you this right now: TNT, ESPN, NBA TV, whoever the case may be, y'all better put this game on, okay? Because we need to see how this goes on. I know it's probably not going to live up to the hype, but there's implications, and I don't want to miss a thing. So this whole saga has been crazy. People have been choosing sides and saying this, saying that. I said my piece. I feel like Markieff sold it. I stick with it. But Jackie, what you think about the Jokic brothers being ready for the showdown part 2 whenever they play next?
I think we're about to have Malice in the what's the name of their arena?
They changed it. I don't know what the Heat's new arena is. It used to be American Airlines. Now it's something I don't even know. So Chad, help us out.
When did they change it from American Airlines? I missed that.
This year. No, this year is the
Oh,
first year is whatever it is now. I don't know what it's called. I don't even remember what it's called now.
it's gonna be malice in that one place. That's what we're gonna call it. Malice in that. It's gonna be. I'm here for it though. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. Now, did Jokic get a $50,000 fine too? Because I felt like his was flagrant as well. Did they both get a $50,000 fine, or just
Just saw the
Markieff?
suspension. Markieff got the fine, and I just saw that Jokic got suspended.
I think Jokic should have got the fine as well, because he did push him from behind. I get what you're saying. Markieff definitely sold it, but he didn't even know you were coming. That's malicious. So I think he should have got the fine as well. And I like Joker, but I'm just saying he should have got the fine as well.
All right. Well, maybe he did. I like I said, I don't know, but all right. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Now we got more of the salt. This is a salty post up. I should have probably started with that. So I hope you guys, if you're eating your breakfast right now, just every time I give you the next post up, just put your meal to the screen because the salt is coming. I'm telling you, and it's continuing with Dwight Howard. We mentioned the top 75 list and how Dwight Howard was left off of it. Myself and Jackie and a lot of you guys in the chat were outraged by the fact that Dwight Howard was not on this list. And Dwight Howard, he's at peace with it now, but he feels like, he knew the entire time he wasn't going to be on the list. He was upset for a little bit, but he's cool with it now. So Dwight Howard, speak on it, bro.
And it is the top 75 list.
Oh.
I want you to tell me in as much detail as possible the day that list came out, when you saw what you
I
thought.
knew I wasn't going to be on it.
Why?
Politics.
Yep.
I already knew. I knew as soon as they made a 75 list, I said, yeah, they ain't going to put me on. They going to put me on the 75 list. I might as well go and forget about it. Yeah.
There was not even a small part of you that felt like you were going to be on it.
I knew that they was not going to put me on that list.
But you do believe you deserve to be on it.
I most definitely should be on that list, but it's okay. It is so okay. I'm not upset about it. I was for probably like 30 seconds. I said, you know what? Life is great. I'm alive. I'm still playing basketball in my 18th season. Who cares about a list made by people who ain't never bounced a basketball before? Who cares?
Come on.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Per response, normally I would be like, do you really believe he's or not? Look, Dwight was chill throughout that entire thing. I really do believe that, I'm sure he's still hurt, but I think he's over it, and I think that's definitely what it came down to. I think we talked about that was one of the main reasons why Kyrie Irving got taken off at the last second. Had to do a lot with the politics, and then for the NBA to make things look one way or the other, and whatever the case may be. But thoughts on Dwight Howard's response? I was with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new Dwight, and I think he's absolutely right. There was a long period of time where Dwight was just very polarizing. We used to always say that he had this immense talent, but he was too concerned with just having fun rather than really kind of focusing. So in the last 2-3 years, we've seen an entirely different Dwight. But people, once they have this thought process of you, it's very hard for you to change it. So I think he understands that regardless of how dope he is, and he definitely should be in that 75, as should Kyrie. But once people feel some type of way about you and then they're in charge of the list, that's just what it is. And you just can't change that. We have these conversations every year when we see people get shunned for Hall of Fames. And then it's like, okay, it's just because they didn't have a good relationship with the media. The people who make these lists, they do make it with a level of prejudice, which I'm not, I get it. LeBron would be on every single list I ever made. You know what I mean? So I get that there's a level of prejudice. But I think when you sit down and you really look at somebody's talent, there's no way you can't put Dwight on that list. There's no way.
Yep. No, I agree. I have my list of players that were left off. So you know what I mean? So I completely agree. Dwight Howard was one of the first names that I wrote down that list. So yeah, I get it. All right, well, like I said, y'all, if y'all eating, okay, get the dish closed because we got some more salt. And this one's probably gonna be coming more from Jackie and Laker fans because oh my goodness. Alex Caruso, I don't know why I said Kyle Caruso. What the hell? Alex Caruso, he dissed a little bit on how the Lakers dissed him and how they really didn't take him serious going into free agency this past offseason. And then that's what ultimately made him decide to go with the Bulls because the Bulls really wanted him and they were going to pay on top of it. So here was his interview with JJ Redick on his podcast talking about the back and forth and the disrespect that came from the Los Angeles Lakers.
So going into it, I really didn't know what to expect, and I really didn't hear much from any team, including the Lakers, leading up to 6 p.m. And then they called and Lakers made their offer. It wasn't an offer I was going to accept because I was going to be able to considerable more money from another team. And, like we just said, a guy that had not had a lot of decision-making power, fought for a job, was essentially, 32 teams told me like they didn't think I was good enough to play in the NBA for 2 years, 3 years. I'm going to try and, I need to get as much money. Like, this is real life we're talking about. I need to financially secure for me, for people. So there was talk with a bunch of different people about the mid-level, which I think was 4 for $40. We never got, anybody to that actual number, but there was a couple of teams that got close. And then my agent texted me and said, hey, Chicago's interested in signing you. I didn't know that financially it was going to be able to work. So I thought once Zoe signed with Chicago, I was like, okay, well, Chicago's off the list. Like, we're going to look at this, that, and the other and try and make it work. I got on the phone with AK and with Billy, and the way they were just talking about how they wanted to play, how they saw me as a player. I thought they, hit the nail on the head. I thought everything they said, I was like, I think that's accurate. I think that's what I bring to the table. I think that's how I can help the team win. I think that's the, direction that this team wants to go.
Here's the kicker.
I thought there was a need for the stuff that I had. So essentially we got that offer, went back to LA, asked if they could do the same, said no, asked for something else that was a little less, said no, and said, okay, well, if that's what it comes to, I'm ready to go to Chicago and, start the next chapter. And I mean, it's been great. I think it's been a great decision for me.
Right, so blink once if my contract guess for the Lakers is over, and blink twice if it's under.
So basically all he says was 2 years, $15 million. And he said blink once if it's over and blink twice if it's under. He said 2 years, $15 million, and he blinked once because that's how much he's getting paid with Chicago, and the Los Angeles Lakers weren't looking to give him that much. 2 years, $15 million. Lakers said, who? You? No, sorry, bro. But we appreciate you, but no, we ain't doing that. And yeah, we don't need to show the quote because he just said it right there. Jackie, as someone who you were a Caruso, you liked Caruso, you were a fan of Caruso. I think I don't think I've ever met a Laker fan that did not like Alex Caruso, to be completely real with you. Yeah. But to hear that, how much of that do you look at it and you're like, yeah, I can see the Lakers doing that, and then at the same time just like shaking your head, hearing that interview and hearing how it actually went down?
It's one of those things, especially watching Reeves play now. I understand the move because I know he's making for sure less than Alex Caruso, and he essentially has the same skill set. So you're basically, in essence, would be keeping a fan favorite for more money just because he's a fan favorite when you can have this kid on this two-way contract and pay him less, because Reeves is going out there and he's just amazing. I do feel some type of way hearing people shout his name and kind of giving him the accolades that they gave Caruso, because I'm like, Caruso, he just left when we just out here. This what we doing, So I do understand that it's a business move. It wasn't personal, but I mean, he's missed by the fans for sure. He's definitely missed by the fans.
Should be
definitely left. Yeah. But at the same time, this is one of those things that I'm talking about. It's once you have something in your head, the fact of the matter is he didn't play that well in the playoffs. He went missing several times. So I think that when you don't look at the totality of his career in LA, you can get pretty short-sighted and say, okay, we have this younger kid that we can pay less and we can just replace him. But Caruso has also been the reason why we've won games. So it's one of those things that if you're just going to look at those last playoffs and if you're going to judge his career by that, then you do make this decision. So I understand why they did it. I understand that money-wise, it was probably just an easy move to make when you're looking at the skill sets between him and Reeves, but he's definitely missed for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like there's a lot missing there. I understand the price point because they wanted to keep Taylor Horn-Tucker. That's the big guy that they want to move forward with, and hoping that he can pan out to be what they think he's going to be. But man, defensively, what Caruso provided for y'all, huh?
He hasn't even played one game this season. That's what I'm saying.
Not
like
yet.
you You gotta weigh this stuff out. You know, we are an older squad.
Yeah.
We're an injury-prone squad. We need bubble wrap around us to stay healthy. But when you have a guy like Caruso who doesn't really have those kind of problems and he's proven to be faithful, just seems like you're out of way. Especially if they were like, okay, we'll take less. He wants to be on this team, and I think that should have counted for something. But
I just want to say that this before LeBron James. I understand things changed, but I still feel like it would have been dope when LeBron James was there. I had said that the Lakers needed to commit on a Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso tandem. Myself and my homie said it on our podcast years ago. I said it. Now I understand you got Anthony Davis out of it, so I get it. Cool. Like Anthony Davis, Lonzo Ball. I understand. Even I'm a Lonzo Ball fan. I understand that. But I'm just saying, defensively, and what's going on with Chicago, at least right now, 7-3. This man Caruso is averaging 2.3 steals a game. 2.3. Yep. Last year he was only averaging like 1.4, 1.5. Mm-hmm. So it's really, you know, I don't know. To keep seeing these young guys that, you know, were once, you know, bred by the Lakers go out there and thrive elsewhere. I understand that the Lakers are happy that they're in a good spot right now, but it's also got to be frustrating. You're looking at like, God, we should have given them some more time.
Yep.
Well, so I understand that, but like you said, you gotta do what you gotta do. Reeves is on a cheaper deal. He could pan out to be a guy that fills in that same spot. And maybe, you know, Taylor Horton-Tucker had a good run with you guys, and when he comes back healthy, we're gonna forget about the fact that he missed these games. So it sucks. Disrespectful, but Caruso got the best out of the deal. So shout out to Caruso, happy for him. Now let's take this away from the NBA, and we are going to talk about. Actually, no, we're going to college football, college basketball, excuse me, because college basketball started up officially this this week, just yesterday. We saw Duke and Kentucky playing. We saw Kansas getting their first game. Now, and the game I'm going to point at is, well, none of those big schools. We're talking about Wichita State. If y'all didn't see this, I'm going to need to show you this, all right? Wichita, they always come out and give you at least a highlight or three every season. This is their first game of the year. This was their game winner. I'm not going to say anything else. Watch the clip.
Looks like Wichita State is just going to attack here and not call a timeout. It's going to be Etienne to make the decision. A logo three! Oh, my goodness! There's 1.6 left on the clock.
I always ask myself when I see these plays, you know what I mean? Like, it's dope when you see like NBA players do it. But whenever I see it in college or high school, I think to myself, man, like if I was coaching, would I actually be happy about this? You know, of course I'd be hyped up, like we just won the game, something like that. But man, this dude, he in his brain, he knew I'm shooting this damn shot right. I'm going LaMelo Ball range. I'm going right here. That's all he needed to do was point at the spot and then shoot the damn ball. But that's crazy, man. That's a crazy way to start off the season. Wichita State now 1-0. The way he walked off was baller. I loved it. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Win the game. How you gotta win the game. Welcome to 2021. Style points, baby. Get the likes on Instagram. That's how it's gonna happen. Now, if that thing missed, we won't be talking about it for a different reason. But hey, man, a dub's a dub, bro. That's style points. Get your win. And then last but not least, we finally got another extraordinary kid to show you guys. You know, I love showing these talented kids out here doing some crazy stuff. Y'all know Derrick Henry. I'm sorry he just went out with injury, and it's really sad times. But it's all right because we got the next coming Derrick Henry in the works. He's on his way up. When I show you this kid's highlights, it's absolutely insane. Watch the forearm by little man right here. Check this out. Forearms, multiple. Move. Sorry. Excuse me. Let's go. You two. I would have stopped at push down number 8 just because. Yeah. Now then I saw this one and I thought to myself as parent CK, I'm looking at my kid's number 7 in the white and he did that I'll be like, okay, all right, basketball. We're going basketball. That's what I'm thinking because it's just like, golly. And he slowed down right here just to get 10 down. Bop, to get out of the way. Yeah, no, number 7. See, number 7 was the last one. He slowed down just so he could push you down. Numbers. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, it's okay. Hey, I love you. Basketball. We tried the football thing. I know it's the first game. Basketball. Okay. Golly, man, that's crazy. That was a cool highlight though. That little man, way too easy. Light work. I want to know how that dude does throughout the entire season. I want to know if that's just a regular occurrence. But that man took out the entire backfield and got to the end zone. Crazy.
I love it.
Crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I had nothing against that.
In your face.
Yeah.
In your face.
Yeah.
Have you seen that kid playing soccer? And he's kind of dancing around the soccer ball, and every time he kicks some kid in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that one.
I like him too.
Yeah.
I like
him. Yeah. But yes. Yeah. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to allow my son to get out there and get destroyed by a little mini Derrick Henry, and we're going to play another sport. We're going to try something else. Jackie Ray, can you tell us on this hump day what we not going to do, though?
Yes, let's get into what we not going to do. You guys, I apologize. My computer is lagging for some reason, but either way, we're going to dive right into this. So we've already talked about Aaron Rodgers and everything that he said on the Pat McAfee show. If you didn't go back and watch that entire thing, I highly recommend you do because it's comical. It at best, it's very comical. But you guys remember that in that he said that he felt that he was falling victim to the woke mob and cancel culture and all that stuff, just really asinine stuff. And then he went on to say that he's immunized himself, like he's figured out some way to immunize himself against COVID, which is hilarious to me, especially since he didn't share what that process was. If you don't know, I think the Green Bay Packers were fined, maybe $300,000 because of this protocol violation because Aaron Rodgers did get COVID. But the fact that he missed a game, the fact that he's cost his team money, none of that matters to Aaron Rodgers. The fact that Kyrie is out here being full-on ostracized and he's not even saying the asinine things that Aaron Rodgers is saying. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers, there's a source that told People magazine that he feels like it's gone too far with the criticism and whatnot that he's getting, not just from us, people that he doesn't care about, but now apparently this source says, quote, he knew people would disagree with him, but he didn't know what it would become. It would become the, S-storm that it became. People who he thought were his friends are turning on him. He's upset about that. He's very unhappy with the response to him. So this is just one of those things. I mean, we've seen politics divide people. So of course, this is going to be one of those things that could potentially divide people, especially when your friends might have been walking around here thinking you were actually vaccinated because you dropped this little nugget that people just didn't know and nobody asked you a follow-up question. So now they could possibly see you as a liar. I don't. I think that you just did a play on words and bad reporters didn't do the follow-up. So that's not necessarily on you. But like Chris said, once you were prepared for the follow-up and your follow-up was actually trash. So I think you probably would have lost friends a lot sooner, because now we're at the point where a lot of us know somebody who has either fallen deathly ill from this virus or has died. And you just out here being all nonchalant talking about, oh, I didn't take. Now, again, he said he was allergic to something that's in one of the vaccine for Moderna and Pfizer, and that Johnson & Johnson was out. I'm not mad at him for that. Johnson & Johnson was out for me too. But then I have to ask, he didn't tell us what that ingredient was. And that's smart, because if he had told us what that ingredient was, guess what I was going to do? I was going to go back and I was going to look up when we get vaccinated as children, which he or immunized by his words, what's in that, because I would have gone back and looked at it. And if anything in that you got when you was a kid and you lived to tell the tale, sir, you're still lying. So I don't think he understands that this has touched everybody in a way that now people feel like you out here playing games and doing this play on words. And yes, that's going to piss people off. People are going to have a visceral reaction to that. That's not a them problem. That's a you problem. One of the things we're doing a whole story on how to navigate the holidays when you have vaccinated versus unvaccinated family members. Like, what does that mean? How do you work around that? Especially if you have someone who has pre-existing conditions and then you have someone who's not vaccinated. Like, what does that do? These are thought processes that are happening in households throughout the country. So why Aaron Rodgers thinks he deserves a pass and he doesn't get to feel the heat from that is so entitled to me that it's funny. And I don't know how this Aaron Rodgers thing is going to play out. In my heart of hearts, I get that it's a different city. I get that there's no mandates and all that in Green Bay, but I hate that he gets to just go out here and say these reckless comments and still play. That bothers me. So what I'm not going to do is give him a pass. If people are coming against what you get, because you've been getting a pass for too long out here on this full-on lie. I'm not saying you lied, but you didn't tell us the whole truth. And that, like my mom said, a half truth is a whole lie. So I'm just going to stick to that. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
The hell am I supposed to add to that? You put that perfectly. Like that, you point blank period. Like Chad is even like, what the hell is Chris? Yeah, CK ain't responded to this. Jackie's broke down. Yeah, 100%. And the thing I did like about the chat though, they're like Kanye Irving and Aaron West, and then they called him Aaron Scott because of Travis Scott. I'm like, y'all wilding right now. But yeah, no, I got nothing to add. All I would do is dilute everything you just said, because I think you broke that down perfectly. He really let me down with his response, because like you, I don't think he ever initially lied. He said one thing and the media didn't do their part, and he got away with it. Now here we are at this point, and you're feeling that type of way. Well, you gotta get what you deserve. Like, and again, he played it smart again by not telling us what the ingredient was. I'm glad you brought that part up too, because he's handling this thing as a real, I don't want to use the word, but as a real fibber normally would, where they ain't gonna tell you the full truth. And to your mama's words, you heard the quote, and he's definitely fitting the bill for that. So yeah, I think you broke that down perfectly. And yeah, I don't feel for Aaron Rodgers like that, but I gotta say, the initial shot, you got away with it. I'm gonna give you props for that. That's as much as you're gonna get from me.
For sure. All right, you guys, that's all we got for today's show. Make sure you are back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Follow Chris everywhere at CK2K. You can follow me at Jackie Ray TV, except for TikTok. That's still J Ray the Fanatic. And we will be back here tomorrow morning. You guys be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.